What's good, people? Welcome back to another episode of Premier League Unpacked, episode 16, the first episode of the new season. We're back, myself, Bish, and the legendary Premzy. How you doing, my bro?
Yo, man's excited for the new start of the campaign. That's what I can say. Obviously, it's very different to the start of many Premier League campaigns, shall I say, because we never get players through the door early, but we managed to get man through the door early. Jesus has give everyone a little bit of a lift. So I'm all right, Bish. You tell me.
Yeah, I'm feeling good, man. I'm excited this year. I think doing this show and speaking about football more regularly has really got me back excited and engaged for this new season. I think as well, last season was competitive, and the way the transfer window has panned out, it feels we feel like we've got a competitive season to come. It feels like we expect things to be even more competitive this year. Obviously, that's still to be seen, but I guess we'll see. We'll get the first taste of that tomorrow night with you guys. I just wanted to ask because you said then I'm excited, but before you said you're excited, you exhaled like you was like I'm excited,
You know
which didn't
what?
sound excited. Is that Arsenal apprehension a little bit still already waiting?
Definitely, Tom. You know how I am.
Yeah,
See what it is.
yeah,
We've had a good pre-season. We've looked actually sharp. We've looked ready now. We've Gabriel Jesus, like I said, has come in and he's give everybody a lift around him. He's even made the fans believe. I think you know what, this guy could come in and get us them that 20 plus goals, and not only
yeah,
just that, but bring assists to the team, track back. There was parts in pre-season seeing him in the right back position, tracking back. You know what I mean? So he's
yeah,
offering us something else. Now, along with that, William Saliba coming in looks solid, looks like a good centre back. So there is a bit of a feel good factor around the club at the moment. But you know Arsenal, in it. Crystal Palace, I
yeah,
think we've beat them once in the last like 8 games we played them or something mad like that. They've got a good record, battered us 3-0 at the head
yeah,
ground last season. And it's a
yeah.
Friday night as well, man. First game of the league, it's always going to be tricky. So even though I am confident, I know it's not going to be an easy game.
Would you have rather not be in the Friday night game on this first weekend? How do you feel about that? Because it can go either way. On one hand, it's like you get to go out first with the whole league watching, and if you go out strong and kind of put in a great performance and put down a marker, then one, you get straight to the top of the league, but also everyone's watching, everyone's it kind of leaves a lasting memory. But at the same time, it's like all eyes on Arsenal. Anything other than a really good performance and 3 points, and there's no other games going on to kind of distract people. Like the talk is already going to start of, oh, here we go, and So, would you rather you weren't the Friday night game, or do you not really mind?
Do you know what? I would rather us not be because
Yeah,
we've known Arsenal teams over the years to not handle pressure very well, Tom.
yeah,
And it's one of them situations where the world's going to be watching this game. It's the first
yeah,
game of the Premier League campaign, London Derby. You get me?
yeah.
Can the boys
True.
deal with the pressure from the get go? That obviously we're going to have to be able to see that because pre-season is totally different. There's nothing really riding on these games. You get me? Obviously, it gives you a good insight to how the team's playing and what the system's going to look like, which, to be fair, has given man some confidence. But like I said, I would have rather played, say, on a Saturday, Sunday, because historically, during midweek Fridays, we never really get the result out, to be honest with you, bro.
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed it's a strong start to the weekend and Arsenal can get things off with a win. Could have been a harder first game of the season, but it's not the easiest. I think a lot of people probably looking to Liverpool versus Fulham and expecting that to be the real spanking of the weekend.
Mm.
Again, that's still to be seen. City got West Ham. I feel like that's a tough starting game. I think historically West Ham have usually started the season strongly, and I feel like that's going to be a tough one for City. And again, like obviously it's the start of the season, it's the first game. You don't want to look too much into it, but with such an active transfer market, so much speculation, and kind of so much competitiveness last season, and so many reasons to expect competitiveness this season. So many top managers around the club, around the top. We're looking at Conte at Tottenham. We're looking at Chelsea now with all the signings we're making. We're looking at Arsenal. We're looking at City. We're looking at Liverpool. We're wondering what might go on with United, with West Ham. Like So it feels like even as a City fan, and even for that City game, it feels like there's a little bit of pressure this year on the first game of the season. Again,
Mm.
maybe that's just, nerves and wanting to get things going, but you want to start strong, because if everyone else starts strong and then stays strong, them early slip ups could make it a harder fight back to get back to the top.
No, most definitely. Look, last season, yeah, we give a lead away in it. Like we lost the first 3 games of the season, we're on our ass, rock bottom of the league, and we can't afford to make them mistakes again. I think
Hmm.
Arteta has learned a bit from his previous mistakes and tried to recruit early. Whether he's recruited it all enough, that's another question. Just like Craig says here, Arsenal still haven't addressed the situation, what is required in our team, and that is
Yeah.
straight up midfield. And for me, we need another forward, bro. So
Yeah.
I do get that there's still going to be that skepticism from some people, but taking what I've seen from pre-season, I've not really seen positivity like this going into the campaign. And normally, always going in dreading the first game. I'm not dreading it. It's just the day. Friday is a
Yeah.
little bit of a funny day. There's a bit more pressure on the players because no one else is playing. It's just them playing, and they know that themselves. So everyone's going to be watching them. So
Yeah.
even with City, just to touch on that, you guys, it's going to be tough as well. They've signed Skamaka, West Ham, and that's a player
Yeah.
that Arsenal was linked to, and he looked a decent player. I can't say that I know much about him, but he seems like a physical presence. And to be honest with you, Tom, it's one of them situations where City didn't look great against um, Liverpool. I must say they didn't look great, and if they take that going into the first game of the season, that same mentality or that performance, it might be a slow start to the season again for City because they had a slow start last
Mm.
season, didn't they?
Yeah.
Big up
Yeah. We've been.
Marcel in the chat.
I know. I thought that Marcel just signed Cornet today. Okay, it's another addition, and I was gonna say also, I think West Ham, that if that's, well, I'm sure it is true if
West
Marcel's
Ham
saying it.
signed Cornet. No way. He's
Yeah,
top player in, man.
top player. And what I was gonna say is that's two really strong signings, but also what West Ham have done well is they haven't really, to my knowledge, they haven't really lost anyone in the window, have they?
Mm.
Who's gone out the door? I'm trying to think if any of their top players that performed well last year have gone out the door.
Could that mean Gerard Bowen might be on his way out if they've got Cornet? Because there's talk of him going, there's links of him to Arsenal. I don't know how solid them links are. We have actually been interested in a winger in Rafinha. We've seen
Yeah.
that. So you never know,
So
bro. It'd be a good
that'd be
signing,
a
I would say.
He would, although, like you said, I don't think that's the first position that you need right now.
No,
And if they're
definitely
only going to
not.
go
But
out and
it's
get one
one.
more guy, don't get us another winger. Go get us a
Mm,
striker. Do you know what I mean?
mm.
Because you've already got
Midfield is
guys that
where
can
we
play out
really
there.
need it. We really
Yeah,
need it in midfield because
yeah,
it's a bit of a mad one. If Thomas Partey or Xhaka get injured,
that's a problem.
we've pretty
Yeah.
much fucked it, to be honest with you.
I mean, there's a lot of transfer talk to talk about, and I mean we can stay on transfers. I was thinking that we'll probably try and double back in the next week, or sometime maybe between the next Premier League Unpacked show and do another transfer talk show, because there's so much to
Mm.
discuss. But just on a more general topic before we move on to um some other pressing conversation. I was wondering, do you feel like, looking at how Arsenal entered the transfer window, you guys were strong out the gates, signed a lot of players, you were the most active team in them first few weeks in the transfer window, and it kind of um, made everyone think positive things about the season to come, and it also kind of took the sting a little bit maybe out of some Arsenal fans that were disappointed with what had happened last season and were asking for change. But then obviously it slowed down, and now we look at other teams that are getting super active towards the back end of the window. You look at a Chelsea. At the time that Arsenal had gone out and signed all these players, Chelsea hadn't really done anything. And I think I came onto one of the episodes we had with Saeed and was saying, look, if Chelsea don't do something and sign somebody, I'm going to be starting to think about Arsenal and Chelsea in that kind of same boat this season. And then all of a sudden, they've just gone on a rampage. Getting Sterling through the door, getting Koulibaly through the door. There's another two signings I think they've pushed through in the last week: a goalkeeper from the MLS and somebody else, and then Cucurella, who we're going to talk about later. It looks like they're pretty much a done deal for that. Just had a deal rejected for Fofana, so
Mm.
they're like going super hard to the back end of the window, and Arsenal have kind of slowed down. And I wonder, do you feel like Arsenal went out strong because they were more just trying to appease the fans as opposed to like really being serious about building what they needed to build? Or do you think it was a bit of both?
Do you know what? Yeah, I feel like they are trying their best, Tom.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they're not trying their best, and I honestly believe that they're trying to bring players in, they're trying to work the market. Whether I believe they're good enough, that's another question.
Another question.
But as long as I can see the effort, I can see us bringing in players that are Champions League quality, like the likes of Jesus, Zinchenko, keeping hold of key players that we've already got within the squad, like a Saka, bringing back in William Saliba, making him feel comfortable and looking like there's a contract extension on for him. These are all positive signs. You haven't really seen the fan base really that together as it has been since the start of this pre-season. We haven't lost a game in pre-season. We've been scoring mad amounts of goals, keeping clean sheets. And a big part of that is coming from Gabriel Jesus. Me and you had this conversation, Tom, and like I said, you told me you don't realise the player you're getting. Big Steve said the exact same thing to me. You don't know the player that you're getting. And I was humming and hawing about it because at the end of the day, I only watch City now and again, and I don't watch them 24/7. I don't follow them all the time. So I can't really say, right, this guy's going to come in and give us not only Aubameyang's goals, but more across the pitch and across the field. You get me? And from pre-season, he's shown us that he can do that.
Yeah.
He's more or less ripped up a Sevilla team, that got a draw with Tottenham. You get me? So it's not like they haven't been in pre-season. Maybe they might be a couple games behind, but they're still out here doing the thing, innit? So it has given us a bit of confidence. I do also believe that they are trying to appease the fans by bringing in the signings early as well, because it is something different to what we've been used to. And Arteta, as you can see, with my man playing fucking You Never Walk Alone in training, he's always a bit different with his ideas. Have you seen that? What happened?
No.
So obviously, see, like on that All or Nothing documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously they put like a little clip out. I think it's being released now. You need to go and check up and watch it tonight if it's out properly. I seen a little clip on YouTube earlier, yesterday, and he's got two massive speakers and at training playing You'll Never Walk Alone and getting the man them to play to that. You get me? Now, if I was a player there, I'd be looking there thinking, right, you've taken the piss out of me, isn't it?
Unless the only scenario, because sometimes we see these things and there's no context and the internet pulls it up, but the only situation I could see where that might have made sense is, say you had a big game coming up at Anfield and he was trying to like desensitize them to the sound song and make them comfortable with it. So when they're in Anfield and the cop starts singing that song, there's a different kind of reaction. But if it's not that and it was just a regular Tuesday and they're playing Crystal Palace that week and then he was like, right, we're gonna play my favorite hits, then that is wild. And
they were playing Liverpool. They were playing Liverpool and got twatted 4-0, didn't they, after that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
it didn't work. No, it didn't work.
Well, I'm just saying, as a player.
Yeah, I know what you mean. He's a bit...
I'm going to be thinking, right, I don't need to be listening to this. You get me? I'm confident in my ability to go there and beat them regardless of what the atmosphere is. You get me? A man's an international footballer. Obviously, I understand he's trying to be imaginative and bring different ideas to the table, but that one, he needs to leave that one to the side. You get me? Like, that was just... That don't make no sense, innit? But
right, go on. I was just going to say...
I was saying then.
We don't even play the song while the game is going on. They play it before.
I know. Exactly. This is another reason. That's another bad thing. You get me?
Yeah. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, it's to be revealed, isn't it? I think if Arsenal do sign or make another good signing by the end of the window, then I'll be more inclined to believe that they were really serious about wanting to build and compete. I think if they don't make another signing, even though they have been good signings and a good window and probably one of the best Arsenal windows we've seen in a long time, so I don't want to take that away from them, but I will be more feeling like, okay, were they a bit fueled by wanting to just get the fans off the back, and now they feel like they've done enough and they don't want to spend any more than they have to, kind of thing. But
he's got no excuses, Tom. No, sorry, he's got no excuses, bro. At the end of the day, he's been here 3.5 seasons. This is 3.5 seasons, coming into 4 seasons. He spent most money last season. He's spending the most money right about now. We definitely have to sign a midfielder, bro. Like, at the end of the day, he fucked up last season, Partey went away on international duty for his country, in January. We should have replaced a midfielder by then. We should have brought a midfielder in because we needed cover. We should have also brought in a striker. These are mistakes that this guy has done, and this is the problem why we didn't get Champions League football. There is no excuse now. You get me? He's been given everything. Go and get the midfielder, get another attacker, take it from there. Don't get top four. Fuck off. Simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. Well, I mean, we've touched on a few players that we've both been excited about this season. Jesus, Cucurella came up. But I guess without hesitating any longer, maybe we could push our conversation onto this season's fantasy football. If you've not already seen on the ticker at the bottom, we've set up a fantasy football league for the Premier League Unpacked family. You can join with the code that's running along the ticker at the bottom. Also, I think we'll probably be putting some links and stuff up on mine and Premsy's Instagram. So if you're having any problems, have a look on there or hit us up. We are going to have a prize for the winner at the end of the season, but also we're all about just expanding this community that we're building here, and maybe if you guys absolutely wipe the floor with us in fantasy football, then maybe it proves that you know more about this than we do. But it's a bit of fun, and it's another thing to just add into this journey for this season. So me and Prem have put together our teams. And we were going to share them with you today, and talk a little bit about a few players that we've got on there. And I think
I'm start off with your team. You're on the left there, and
I'm on the left-hand side. I'm on the left-hand side. As you can see, I'm quite my team's basically almost exclusively made up of Arsenal, City, and Liverpool.
But let's go from top to bottom. Let's go from keeper to let's go from your keeper to the subs. And,
good idea.
And let's go through the team and give us a reason why you've picked this player in this position.
Yeah. So
and this formation as well.
Yeah. I mean, so picking my team, there was a kind of a combination of things happening. Originally, I was picking players that I like, players that I feel like are the best in that position or that I would want in my team. And then about halfway through, I started to remember and realize that like fantasy football and the fantasy league works a certain way and the points work in a certain way. So I tried to kind of integrate that a little bit as well, but there's a bit of both going on. So for Ederson, I mean, I think if you're talking about goalkeepers that get the most points in fantasy football, but also probably arguably top goalkeepers in the league, really it's in my opinion, between Alisson and Ederson. I think you can probably, flip a coin on which one you prefer. I think Ederson, better with the ball at his feet, better distribution. Alisson's a bit more of a presence in goal. I went for Ederson in the end, partly because I already had 3 other Liverpool players in the team, and you've got a 3-player limit. But also just because he's my preference out of the two. And I think Ederson, we've seen some of the direct assists that Ederson gets. I mean, that's rare that you've got a goalkeeper in your side that's getting assists. And I think I'm just quite a few of the City players that I included or thought about including in my team were tied in with this idea of like, how are things going to maybe be different with City this season with Haaland, and how might that affect other players and their statistics and what they're able to do this season. And with Ederson, I'd be interested to see whether Haaland kind of playing on that last man with his movement and with his presence, are we going to see some of those amazing Ederson long balls over the top and then Haaland, throwing defenders off his shoulder and slamming the ball home, just route one kind of thing. So I went for Ederson in the end. That was kind of my rationale. But yeah. I see you've gone for Mendy.
Yeah, so I've gone for Mendy. Reason being is because he was only 5 million, so it saved me a little bit of money.
Bargain. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to lie, saved me a little bit of money. And you know what? He saves penalties. That's a reason why I've kind of put him in there, because
true.
If we can get him to save a few pence, and being in the team of Chelsea, I've kind of opted to go with a lot of, more the big 16s, because I feel like they're going to obviously lose less games than the smaller teams. And I think Mendy's quite good. I think he'll get me some points. But all round, he's cheaper.
Yeah. And you've got Koulibaly that's just been introduced into that defence at the back. I mean, we're going to see how that pans out, but he looks like a top centre back. And if he has the presence and the effect that we're expecting him to have on that Chelsea back four, then you would expect that's going to be less goals conceded, which would mean, you know, more points for Mendy in the same process. I can see that Mars. Do you want to speak to that on the All or Nothing episode, or do you want to double back to that in a bit?
Yeah, we'll double back to it. Just popping it up for now.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say to you. So obviously this one here, we both got Trent in it as our first defender. So you might as well start off. Yeah, you might as well start off where you got him, bro.
So you've gone for him as captain. I did consider having him as my captain. I kind of changed my mind at the end, but I mean, you know, he's the highest performing defender as far as fantasy football is concerned last season. Him and Cancelo were kind of head and shoulders above everyone else, and Alexander-Arnold was out top just because of the amount of assists, the amount of goals he gets, the amount of kind of attacking involvement he has, and then also being involved in a side that doesn't concede many goals. I mean, fantasy football, from what I've seen, is quite skewed towards kind of goals scored and goals created. So you know, I don't know if that's something they can think about in the future and think about a way that the point system can better reflect, like, you know, the impact and the value of players like Kante and Basuma and stuff. But as it is, generally speaking, the players that get you points are the players that score goals, create goals. And in the case of defenders and goalkeepers, you also want people that don't let too many in, don't get sent off too much. You know, and Alexander-Arnold ticks all of them boxes. And I think he went crazy last season, and he's only going to go crazier this season. I think he's looked great in pre-season. I think this Núñez kid up front is a bit more of a target man than they've had in the last year or so, the last couple of years. I think that only plays to Alexander-Arnold's strengths. And he's just getting older, and he's growing into his career, and he's getting more and more responsibility. And I think with that, there's going to come more and more opportunities for him to just, you know, go with what he feels best and go on his own, score, take, you know, put balls into the box, etc. So I think, you know, as Marcel said in the comments, I think he's probably going to be in most people, if not everybody's, back four. And with Fulham this weekend, Liverpool playing Fulham this weekend, I think picking one of your Liverpool players as a captain could be a real strong move. Obviously, from my perspective, I'm hoping that, you know, somebody else scores and creates the goals for Liverpool so that you don't run away with it in first week. But yeah, Trent Alexander-Arnold. How about yourself? Right. Or do you want to move on to the next player?
What we'll do is we'll go through your team now, because obviously you just give me an essay about him. So I was going to say that was a lot. I don't think I can. That was a lot. I don't think I can really comment on more. I don't think I can comment more on that. Just short and brief in it. You get me, bro? Because we've got a lot of players to get through.
I see. I mean, we both had Alexander-Arnold, and like Marcel said, that's a player that a lot of people are gonna have. So I think there was probably more to say about him than a lot of other people. But
100%,
definitely, we'll keep it quicker. I mean, if I run through the rest of my back four, I've got Gabriel, I've got Cancelo, and I've got Zinchenko. I mean, Cancelo, you know, similar reasons to Alexander-Arnold, really. Creates goals, scores goals. Again, like with Alexander-Arnold and Núñez, City having Haaland up front, I think that's only going to increase the opportunities for Cancelo to get assists, putting balls into the box, putting balls in around the back. So I'm excited to see how that turns out. I think he's going to be another great addition to my back four. Gabriel scored the most goals out of any defender in the Premier League last season. But also, you know, is in a back four, which I think this year is going to do better and isn't going to concede too many goals. Good defender, doesn't make too many crazy mistakes. And then Zinchenko, for me, I think Zinchenko is could be a really clever pick in the back four for a few reasons. One, I think he's a really good player, a bit like Jesus. I've been saying to you, I think, you know, Arsenal fans might not appreciate until he gets there what a great player he might have got in Zinchenko. But also, there's been a lot of rumours that Zinchenko might actually find himself playing in a midfield role for Arsenal this season. I don't know if you've heard much about that, but I've heard a few people saying that actually they might have bought him to play in like a playmaker kind of De Bruyne role in midfield, which means that if you... Maybe not, but if there's a chance that if there's a chance that he might be playing that position even just sometimes, or that he's going to be playing a more kind of attacking and involved role in that Arsenal team, then I think having him as a defender that could potentially be involved in a lot of assists, a lot of attacks, maybe even some set pieces. Again, it tells me a lot of points could be on the cards. And him and Gabriel were cheap.
The way he plays as well, like our way Arteta's playing him is we're playing a back four, but then it's like Zinchenko will drop into midfield a bit, and then a bit more, not as a more of an advanced, So it's kind of like that at the moment. So I can see, but I think with Tierney's injury record, bro, I think he's just going to more or less just cover that position for large parts of the season, bro, because we haven't got no one else now. Nuno Tavares is gone. And that's it. Let's get back to it. So that's a back line of Ederson, Alexander-Arnold, Gabriel, Zinchenko, and Cancelo. That's a good back four midfield.
Yeah, my midfield. Oh, and my defensive substitute you can probably see is Kieran Trippier. I don't know if it's worth mentioning him now in the conversation about defenders. I mean, Caballero was just, you kind of had to get a second goalkeeper, and he's a decent goalkeeper as far as second goalkeepers go. But Trippier, I thought could be a good move because he got injured. Didn't he, after he kind of arrived for Newcastle last season, which meant that early impact he had was slowed down a little bit. But I think if he hadn't got injured and he carried on that kind of trajectory, he would have been a really high scoring and high influence player for Newcastle.
100%.
And I think he's back to fitness. I think they're starting the season fresh slate, good manager, good squad. I think there's every chance that he could be one of the best fullbacks in the league this season. Let's remember this is a guy that was a major part of an Atletico Madrid league-winning side.
He's just deadly from the dead ball position.
Deadly from the dead ball position. Takes corners. So this is a guy that could actually be one of the most valuable defenders that I've got in that back five, and he's on my bench, and he was.
And this is what I was thinking as well, bro. This is real good cover. Real good cover, that is.
Super good cover, and he's not from one of them, from one of the other squads that I've already got. So you're not kind of, you don't want to have. Obviously, we've got players from the top teams, but you want to have options, don't you? So if it's like, if Arsenal are playing Liverpool, and I'm feeling a bit iffy about Arsenal's form, and I want to have the option to switch some guys out, then it's good to have players from other teams that might have other more favourable matchups in the league. Yes, big up deep. Love to see it. Midfield. Are we going to go with my midfield, or do you want to go through your back three?
Should we go through your team and then we'll go on to mine, and then that way we can.
As long as the people ain't going to get bored of my voice.
No, we'll keep it brief, and then we'll try to go into it a bit more detail later, right?
So I've got Salah, Bruno Guimaraes, Jorginho, and Thiago in the midfield. I mean, Salah, he was the most expensive player you could buy, highest scoring points, kind of speaks for himself. Crazy amount of goals every season. Obviously, he's not a midfielder. That's a bit of a glitch in the system that you can get Salah and Son as midfielders. For me, they're not midfielders. But, in the end, it was between Salah, Son, De Bruyne for my kind of super expensive midfielder. And the thing that just swayed me to Salah in the end, at least for week one, was the fact that Liverpool have got Fulham. And I thought, there's every chance that Salah might just go and score 5 this first weekend, whereas City might have a hard first week or week or two. Like you said, we might be a bit slow to get off the ground, and De Bruyne hasn't looked great in pre-season. So I went for Salah in the end. Thiago was cheap, but I've kind of picked him up with that same kind of Liverpool mentality. I think he's going to start most games for Liverpool. I think he started to look stronger and stronger last season in a Liverpool shirt, and I think he's going to get goals and he's going to create stuff. Jorginho, I actually went for. Interestingly, I kind of went for Jorginho again because he was cheap, but my thinking was that Jorginho, penalty taker, deadly penalty taker until a bit of a wobble in the last kind of season or so. But with Chelsea signing Sterling and the amenities that Sterling historically won, and I think he might even win more in a Chelsea shirt because he's probably going to be playing a more direct kind of running at his defender role. There is a chance that Chelsea might get a lot of penalties this season, and if they do, I suspect Jorginho will be the one stepping up to put them away. So that was the thinking with
Tactical
Jorginho.
Tactical
thinking. Look, man, I know I'm trying not to go on too long, but I'm actually a genius in the way that I've mapped it out. So I have to, drop these gems. No, I'm joking. Well. But And Bruno Guimaraes, I don't actually know that much about Bruno Guimaraes, but I've heard so much. You've really spoke him up, and I've seen some of the impact he had for Newcastle last season. And I think he's obviously going to be, everything's going to go through him in a Newcastle shirt. So if they do well, he'll do well. And I've got Gray on the bench. Gray was a cheap signing. It's to be seen whether Everton will be able to do anything this season. They've not signed anyone. It's looking a bit worrying really for Everton fans at the moment, but he was a bit of a silver lining for Everton last season. And again, a lot of stuff goes through him on the attacking foot, and he was cheap, so that was the thinking behind getting Gray. Similar with Edouard up front. He was maybe 4.5 million, and he's a first choice most weeks striker for Crystal Palace. So he seemed like a good backup as far as the cheap players go. But my main front two I've gone for are Jesus and Haaland. I was umming and ahhing about Haaland, about whether I think he'll come out the gate strong or whether he'll take a bit of time to warm up. Because if he does take a bit of time to warm up, he'd probably rather start with somebody else who might come out the gates quicker. But in the end, I just thought, you know what, let me go for it. Let me back my team. Let me back my guy. And I would hate to not him and for him to then go and do some Haaland stuff and score like 16 goals in the first 4 games or something ridiculous. So I went for Haaland. And I've gone for Gabriel Jesus because I've been saying the whole kind of pre-season, the whole window, that I just think he's a top player. I think he's a great fit at Arsenal. I think he's going to do amazing things. I think he's looked great in pre-season. And I think the kind of momentum he's got at the moment, I don't think he's going to stop going into this Crystal Palace game. I mean, you hit it here first, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Gabriel Jesus hat-trick first game of the season. I've got a bit of a weird feeling about that. I could be off, but that's what I'm feeling, that he's going to get 2 or 3 in that first game. So I've put him as my captain as well, really, just to back it. Just to put my money where my mouth is, I put him as my captain. So, wishing for the best for Arsenal and Gabriel Jesus tomorrow.
Yeah,
and that's my team.
Okay, that's a good team. I'm going to read it out one more time for the people in full, just in case it's a bit small on your screens. So that's Ederson in goal, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Gabriel, Cancelo, Zinchenko in defence. So it's going for a 4-4-2 with Salah, Bruno Guimaraes, Jorginho and Thiago, with Jesus and Haaland up front. Subs don't really matter just yet. Right, people, my team, I'm just going to go flick through it briefly. Already touched on Mendy, the reason why I wanted to keep him in there, because he's saving penalties, and to be honest, he's probably going to be first choice keeper regardless anyway. Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think he's going to be involved in most things Liverpool do good, so that's the reason why I've put Trent there. Cucurella, really impressed last season. Feel like he's got a lot more to offer. He might get a big move to... It was meant to say City, but that looks off. It looks like he's moving to Chelsea. And to be honest with you, if he gets there, Chilwell's been niggled with injuries 24/7 since he's moved to Chelsea. So Cucurella seems cementing his spot. And to be honest, if he is at a bigger club, there's probably just more that you're going to see coming from him. Very attacking. And I would have him in the team. The reason I've gone for Reece James as well, same kind of reason, very attacking. And he scores goals as well. So that's the reason I've gone for Reece James. I went for a back 3. And
can I just quickly ask you a question on Cucurella in a second when you're ready? Go on. I was just going to say, with this transfer news coming so late in the week, if the deal's not all the way done by Saturday, then obviously he's not going to be lining up for Chelsea this weekend. Even if it is done, obviously he'd be pretty much coming through the door and straight into the team. But if it isn't done, you'd imagine he maybe wouldn't line up for Brighton if he's literally due to be out the door. Have you got any concerns that maybe week 1 he might not be involved, or do you think that probably he'll find his way onto the pitch either way just because of how good of a player he is?
I feel like what you're saying is a good possibility that he might not be involved, but I feel the way Brighton are moving is that they would play him just to show other teams that we're not fucking around, mate. We'll play him.
Yeah, we'll keep him.
Money,
if you
put the money there.
True.
Because there's
no
point us missing out on him. So going back onto that, so that I've gone with a 3 in defence, and like I said, is the reason I've gone for them back 3, all attacking, all likely to create assists and goals. Trent as a captain, because I could just see him doing something dangerous on the first day against Fulham. To be honest with you, he's been looking sharp in pre-season. We've got 4 midfielders. We're going to have to go with Son. Reason I've gone with Son, obviously leading goal scorer last season. Like I said, is you could potentially argue he's a forward, but they've got him in midfield. So I've got Son there. I think he'll get bags of goals, quality player. Gone for Martinelli in midfield as well. Believe that he's probably going to start most of the games for Arsenal. And I really feel like he should be able to come into his own this season and develop that next level. And I can see him really pushing on. Next up, Fabinho from Liverpool. Again, a team that I don't think is going to lose very often. A player that can also score from set pieces and also provide assists from deep as well. So I think Fabinho is a decent option to bring into the midfield. And also just a little bit of a wild card. I threw in Eze from Crystal Palace. I know that they are going to be playing Arsenal, but he looks at absolute talent. He looked at talent before he got injured. Yeah. And if you watched him pre-season, bro, looks unbelievable. Yeah. Got a good couple of assists and whatnot. And I thought, you know what? I'll throw somebody in there like that. It's just full of goals, full of assists. And
I like it.
It looks all right. And then up front, this is where the damage happens. You get me? We've got Erling Haaland, Gabriel Jesus, and Harry Kane. And the reason I've gone top heavy is because 9 out of 10, these are the guys that are going to score you the goals and basically gain you the points each week. To be fair, Harry Kane, some people are telling me they don't know whether he's going to be done this season or not. I feel like he's still got quite a few good goals in him. I feel like under a manager like Conte, is only inevitable to get the best out of a quality player like Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Gabriel Jesus has been on absolute fire since he's been at Arsenal. Like I mentioned earlier, he's just giving everyone a lift. Is he giving me that much of a lift? I put him as vice captain. It's a madness.
Yeah.
And Haaland, my man missed the chance, and it looks like it was all tits up for him. But to be honest, watching it back and seeing his face after he missed that chance, and seeing the look of his face when Liverpool were picking up the trophy and collecting their medals, it looked like he was hungry for revenge, hungry to fix it. So I could see Haaland banging in goals. We all know what he's about. And that's why I brought in Haaland, to be honest with you people. I brought in Nat Williams in defence as cover, Gilmore and Bahi. To be honest, I've only brought in people that are pretty shit and low on the budget. Nah, big man thing, innit? This is what it is. Like, I put him low on the budget because I gotta get Haaland in. I gotta get all of these guys in, man. You can't just fucking can't mess around like that.
The guy did not sugarcoat it at all. Guys are just shit, to be honest with you. Yeah, that's funny. I was gonna say to you as well. I don't know how many United fans we've got in the comments today, but it'd be interesting to see how many fantasy league teams pick any United players really, because I mean, outside of the fact that that's Kukurea. You know, outside of the fact that they've not got maybe the best crop of players at United, it's so unpredictable how things are going to start. I don't think anyone really wants to gamble on getting any United players into their team at the moment. So,
my like boy's got Rakic has got Rashford in there, and I was saying to him, that's a. To be fair, like I can see why he's put him in there, but I was saying to him as well, it's a bit of a gamble as well, and like with Rashford, he's not really performed over the last season. He might not even play.
We don't know who Ten Hag's even going to play, what shape system he's going to play, how guys are going to line up. The only guy we can say it looks pretty certain is going to be like at the center of things for them from how they've been playing and what Ten Hag's saying is probably Sancho. But other than that, everyone else, like imagine you went out and bought Ronaldo and then they just bench him for the first 3 weeks, you'd be buried. So, you know, it's a bit of a scary place over there, scary hours over there.
Do you know what it is as well, yeah? See, with the United situation, they went out last season and they brought a Sancho that they were just dying for.
Hungry
you get me?
Yeah.
But bro, these guys, what they would do, like I'm telling you, it was a mad thing what they were on with Sancho. They prolonged it. They got him at a better deal, cut price, to be fair. So they did do better business. They got in Varane, they got in a Ronaldo, and they were expecting to challenge, bro. The drop from expecting to challenge to where they ended up, bro. 11 points behind Arsenal is unbelievable, bro. And we didn't really have our greatest season, in my opinion, where we had a decent season that we was able to basically more or less one game away from getting fourth spot. But again, to me, that's down to the manager. Realistically, Tom, we shouldn't be in these 8, 9, 7 place battles and all that, bro. We should be at the top. You get me?
Yeah, it's true. What do you Do you see what's the situation with Jude Bellingham? Do you know? I just suddenly thought that when you was talking about Sancho, like, is he just staying put out there? Like, I really thought we were gonna see a team swoop in for him this season,
Do you
but
know
maybe
what
he's
it
not.
is? I think they only let one big player go each season, and I think that's
Right.
been their model for a
So they don't
while
get
now.
raided.
Yeah,
Right.
so they don't get raided. It still gives other players to adapt, come into the team, adapt, settle, and then the replacement can then obviously take his place and they can sell whoever on in it. So I feel like that's what Dortmund is doing, and also Dortmund are quite a difficult club to deal with in the sense of
True.
price. They're quite firm, they're quite sturdy, and their price is their price, I suppose. Look, they made United
Yep.
wait another year and a half, and they still kind of stung him. Do you know what I mean?
Can I do rapid fire? Get your predictions for all the games this weekend. Who you think's gonna win, and then give us a score as well if you fancy it.
Yeah, yeah,
Crystal
yeah.
Palace, Arsenal.
3-1 Arsenal. I think Gabriel Jesus will score 2 and Saka will score 1.
Nice.
Oh, you know what? I'm
Um,
going to say Martinelli to score 1 because I got him in my fantasy football team.
nice. I like it. I think I'll go 3-1 Arsenal as well. You know, I'm not I'm copying you a little bit, but that sounds about right for me. 3-1 Arsenal. In fact, I'll say 3-0 Arsenal. Go on.
Yeah.
So we've got a different bet there. Fulham Liverpool.
4-0 Liverpool.
4-0 Liverpool. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go 5-1 Liverpool. So both kind of expecting similar kind of routes over there. Bournemouth, Aston Villa.
I think Villa will win that 2-1.
Nice. Villa to beat Bournemouth
And I think
2-1.
Coutinho will play a big part in that game as well. I feel like he'll pretty much step up to the plate this season for them.
I think that will be a 1-1 draw, I'm gonna say. And
1-1.
you know what? I'm gonna change my Liverpool shout against Fulham. I think it'll be 2-0 to Liverpool. I actually don't think they're gonna hammer them as much as I thought. I might regret that if it ends up being 5-1. But I
What
want
else
to put
was I saying?
as a City
5-0
fan,
Liverpool.
I want to put. You're saying five. Ah, look, now I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about.
Do you know what
I
we're going to
feel
do
like
as well, people, as well, just before I
yeah,
forget, yeah? Whilst
yeah,
this season starts, people, yeah, we're going to start bringing on fans. I'm going to put the stream link out. And then, obviously,
yeah,
as long as everything's appropriate in the background and it's no fuckery, I'll
yeah.
bring you onto the screen. And one of you guys can speak to us for a couple of minutes. And we'll do like a half an hour
Give your
section within
thoughts.
Premier League Unpacked. And you can come on and give your thoughts and stuff like that. So if that's something that you think would be good, make sure you drop a comment
Let us know
below.
in the comment.
Also,
Definitely.
smash a like on the video as well, people, as it helps. But go on, Tom.
Yeah.
Sorry for
I'll
interrupting
just
there, bro.
stick. I'll just stick with my original one for Liverpool. I'm not going to be changing it. I need to. I was trying to decide whether I want to like wish a loss or a draw upon them, but it's going to be a rout in it. So 5-1 to Liverpool. Bournemouth, Aston Villa. We've done Newcastle, Nottingham Forest.
I think Newcastle will win that. I think Newcastle will win that 2-0.
2-0 is a good shout. I'm going to go 3-1 to Newcastle in that one.
Are you taking note of these?
Yeah. Well, I might even just.
I don't be telling me mental note before you go on
I'm
burn
just
one and
nah.
that mental note's gone.
I'm just gonna watch the video back. To be honest with you, I thought that before we started talking, and I thought it'd be easier for me to just watch it back. Tottenham, Southampton. Now you're stuck where I was with Liverpool. Do you want to be honest, or do you want to wish failure upon them?
No, I'll be honest.
Yeah,
I'm always honest. I think Tottenham will do them. I think they'll do them about.
yeah.
I think it's potentially a 3-1, 3-2 game.
3-1, 3-2. Yeah, I
Yeah,
could
something
see
like
that.
that.
I could see that. I might. You know what? I think I'm gonna go with a draw again in that game. I think I'm gonna say.
Tottenham have recruited well, bro. They've done well.
I know.
Southampton's still looking a bit shit,
I
really.
think I think for some reason I just got a feeling that I think it's gonna be. I think that one might be 0-0. You know, I'm gonna go 0-0.
And
Leeds, Wolves.
ooh, I think Wolves will win that 1-0.
Yeah, I think Wolves will win that.
I think Wolves will win that 1-0.
I think they'll win that 3-0. Everton, Chelsea.
Oh, Everton are looking dead. I'm telling you.
I wanted them so badly to get the stuff together this season, but they've not done anything all transfer window, bro. They've only got two registered strikers.
Yo,
What
bro, they're
one's
looking
banned and one's
dead.
injured.
They
Bro,
just signed that
Calvert-Lewin's
Dwight
out.
McNeil, though, haven't they?
Who's
They
he?
signed that, from Burnley. Do you remember Dwight
Oh,
McNeil? He looks decent.
I
I'm
thought you were
sure
gonna
they
say.
signed him.
I thought you were gonna say quick fit, mate. I swear Dwight McNeil works at quick fit.
You know, honestly, my man's got talent.
Oh, mate.
Yeah. Good little talent. I think he'll do better in a better team. But putting all that aside, I think Chelsea are going to slap him up 3-0.
Yeah, that's probably going to be a problem for Everton. I mean, I'm going to hope for the best and say that it'll be damage limited and 2-0 to Chelsea, I think.
2-0 to
Leicester,
Chelsea.
Brentford.
Ooh, I think Brentford will beat
Hard
them 1-0.
that.
I think Brentford will beat them 1-0. Is it at Leicester's home or Brentford's?
It's at Leicester.
Oh, that changed. Go 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. I was gonna go draw. I think I'll meet you in that one with a 1-1 draw. The big relegation clash again, Man United versus Brighton. Not really the relegation.
It won't surprise me if Brighton beat them. I'm gonna go for a Brighton win, and I'm gonna go for a Brighton 2-1 win.
Okay, cool. I'm going to try and not be biased and be sensible and say 5-0 Brighton. Joking. Oh, man, I love it.
Well, Brighton are no joke, you know. Brighton a good team, man.
I hope he don't bite me in the ass, you know, just cussing United out every week and then Ten Hag just comes in and they win a quadruple. Nah, I think that's gonna be a draw. I think that's gonna be a 2-2 draw, and I think Welbeck's gonna come through clutch and bag at least one. And then we're on to West Ham and City. Yeah, big Welbs, man. Shout out to Welbeck every time.
I think this is gonna be a draw, you know, Tom. I think it's gonna be a 1-1 draw. And the reason I think that, because I don't think City are quite at the race. I think it's going to be like last season where City started off slow and started to gain momentum, where they went on a 15-16 unbeaten run and stuff like that. I just feel like West Ham are no joke as well, bro. Like, they're a good team. They're a good team, and they've held their team now for a few seasons. They've held their team structure for a few seasons. Everyone should be adapted, and where they were lacking for me is a replacement for Antonio, and now they brought in Scamacca, somebody that we were looking at. There we go. West Ham's winning that 2-1, Mary.
Winning? You saying that?
Myself.
Oh, Liverpool fans. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Could happen. And it's at West Ham Stadium. My gut is probably with you. I've thought a few times over the last 2 days I could see us drawing that game, but the only thing that makes me feel like maybe we might go out and win it is the fact that we lost that Shield game against Liverpool, and the manner in which we lost it. We didn't play well, really. And it's never a good feeling losing to Liverpool with the competition we've got at the moment with them, especially. I mean, even if it's in a little poxy trophy, like you just don't want to lose to Liverpool, even if it was a flipping, friendly. So I think that will probably put a bit of a jetpack up City's backside. I think, like you said, Haaland will come out feeding off that kind of chitter chatter, Michael Jordan style, and just come out and go crazy. So I'm gonna go with 2-0 to City. I'm gonna try to be optimistic. And that brings together all of our predictions. I'll watch the video back and I'll note them down, and we'll see how many we got right next week.
We're gonna try to stick to a Thursday now as well, people. We're gonna try to come to you at 6:30 every Thursday. Obviously, we'll let you know a day in advance when we post on Instagram, whether it's 6 o'clock or 6:30. We will try our best to keep it to a stable time every week, people. Like I said as well, we are going to start to bring on some fans one at a time on the show as well, so they can interact with us and speak to us and get your thoughts as well. And like I said, people, make sure before you do go, smash a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and make sure that you comment in below as well. Join the Fantasy Football League, Premier League Unpacked. There is going to be a winner at the end of it, and the winner will get a prize. Me and Tom will hook his up and sort his out with something. The code's at the bottom of the screen rolling now, and also the links in the description as well. The link's not in the description, the code's in the description. Maybe I'll put the link in as well if I know how to do it. Obviously, I'm still kind of figuring it all out. But people, peace out and love. Tom, Bish.
Much love, my bro. Appreciate it. I'm looking forward to a great season. Big up everyone in the comments.
Let's have it. Come on, you Gunners. Let's fucking smash the red in tomorrow.
What's it?
Right.